Today, we are going to learn how to unhook and hook up a tractor trailer. Let's get rocking and rolling. Come on. So, 3 steps, unhooking and hooking up a tractor trailer. Step number 1, you're going to have landing gear that we got to deal with. Step number 2, we're going to have the 5th wheel that we have to unhook. And step number 3, we're going to have glad hands and air lines to take apart as well. So step 1, right here is landing gear. This is how it's going to happen. Landing gear, as you can tell, it's gear that we use for landing. How do you move this thing? So this is called a crank handle. If you move it one way, it goes down. If you move it the other way, it goes up. Other thing to know about the crank handle, there are 2 gears to it, high gear and low gear. How do you move it? How do you change the gears? By moving this thing in and out. So for instance, as you can see, it's moving a lot faster now. That means we're in high gear. So we're going to be in high gear all the way until we hit the ground. And this is your daily truck driver workout when you actually become a truck driver. So you can save some money from going to the gym. Alright, so now that we're on the floor, now we got to make sure that it is secure, which means now I'm going to change it into low gear. I'm going to turn a little bit more, so then we know that it's secure on both sides. This is making sure that the weight of the trailer actually goes onto the legs itself. After that's done, then I'm going to secure this crank handle itself. Alright, so now run with me to the other side, and we're going to go into step 2 of how to unhook a tractor trailer. Alright, step 2 of how to unhook a tractor trailer. Underneath here we have our 5th wheel, and we're going to have to pull out the release arm in order for the locking jaws to open up and we can disconnect from the trailer itself. So step number 2, as you guys can see over here, it's a little dark. I don't know if you guys can get a good sight of it, but where my hand is, this is called the release arm. So you're going to need to show your muscles again and pull this thing all the way out and make sure that it locks in place just like that. Now the locking jaws are open, and that means that we can move this thing forward without an issue. As we move on to step number 3, we got to climb these stairs here, and we have our glad hands that we got to take care of. So red is emergency, blue is service, green or black is going to be for electrical. So what we're going to have to do is unhook the glad hands. Alright, so there's the red and the blue, and then the green is unhooked as well. Now it's very important that you just don't leave these hanging here, because if you do, they're going to get dragging on the floor, they're going to get caught up in different parts of the tractor, and you're going to lose it. So, what do we have for that? We have what we call our dummy couplings, which is this right over here. So these are our dummy couplings, and these are so that these glad hands can be secure throughout the trip when you are not transporting a trailer, and no dirt or water is going to go inside these holes here, as you can see. Alright, so we definitely don't want any water going inside these holes. That's where the air is supposed to go through, not water. We want to make sure that they're not tangled, so then we can rock and roll and do it that way. So now, that's all 3 steps. Now what we got to do, get this truck out of this trailer. So you're going to actually see me unhook the tractor and the trailer, and you're going to pay attention to here, and you're going to see how this tractor is going to move away from underneath the trailer itself. Ready, 3, 2, 1, drum roll please. And are we going to disconnect? And we did. So now we are completely disconnected from the trailer, and now we got an empty trailer just waiting there for the next guy to pick it up. So we just unhooked it, now we got to hook it back up. So now this tractor is going to back up into that trailer, so now we can actually move the load and go wherever we want to go with it. So pay close attention. Step 1, you're going to have to back up. When you are backing up, make sure that the trailer and the tractor line up straight. If they do not line up straight, you're going to be screwed. Alright? So, let me show you something really quick to show you how that works. Right over here, this greasy thing that you see here, this is called your 5th wheel. It should be nice and greased because this is what's actually hooking up your tractor to your trailer itself. If you look at this opening here, it looks like a V shape. The reason why it looks like a V shape is because now the kingpin from the trailer can actually slide into it. So this gives you a little bit of margin of error, okay? So the goal is the kingpin from the trailer, which is this solid piece of metal, is actually should be in the middle here, it should just slide right in. However, if you were to make a mistake, say you're over here, and then you would actually slide it in and still be okay. You want to avoid doing that at all costs, because now you're going to start moving the trailer and moving the legs, which could cause damage to the trailer and to its legs itself. So how do you know that you're lined up? A very simple thing. You're going to look at the side of the tire, and you have to line that up with the side of the trailer. Alright? So once you line up the side of the tire with the side of the trailer on both sides, it's going to be a piece of cake, and you'll line up every time. So watch me. Now that we locked in, as you can see, we always want to double check. How do we double check? You got to give it a tug. So we want to make sure that we do have a good connection. So we're going to give it a tug. We're going to put it into first gear. We're going to come off the clutch a little bit. We're going to let everything tug out. As you can see, we move forward. But the trailer and tractor did not become disconnected, which means our connection is tight. And now we're good to move on to hooking everything up. Alright, so just like before, but we're going to do it in reverse. So we already talked about the fifth wheel, that did it automatically. So now we got to do the glad hand since we're here. So if you guys remember, red is going to be for emergency. So red should always hook up with the red itself, or if it's dark outside, the red should always be on the right side of the trailer. Alright, so how do you hook this up? The hole has to hook up with this hole here, line up the hole, and then just like a handshake, you're going to push down. Same thing on this side, the blue with the blue, like a handshake, and then push down. And then in this case, we got a black wire for the electrical to make sure that all the lights are going to be working properly. And all you do is just slip that in, just like that. So, that's the next step. We got one more step, which is going to be, now we got to raise that landing gear. Are you ready for some muscles? Let's try it out. Alright. This is one of those workout videos, but for truck drivers, because this is what you guys got to do every day. So, just like you saw me pull this thing down, now we got to pull this thing back up. Same kind of thing, you're going to turn the wheel the opposite way. Right now, this is in low gear. How can you tell? Because everything's moving very, very slowly. Low gear is going to be used for power and not speed. However, if we put it in high gear, bam! Now, I need to use a little bit more force. But now this thing is actually moving a whole lot quicker. It's kind of like a bicycle with a whole bunch of gears on it. The higher the gear, the faster you go, but the more force you have to put on. So, when you are raising this thing up, it's very important that you're not lazy and you actually pull this thing all the way up until it can't go anymore. Because the last thing you want to do is hit a bump on the road and lose your landing gear. Bam! Now, very important, last step, secure this thing. What happens is, if you leave this thing out like this, somebody's going to come up, another trailer, is going to bend this all out of place, and you try to lower this or higher this without this crank handle. It's going to be much more difficult than what you saw me just do now. So, that's how you hook up and unhook a tractor trailer. My name is Jonathan with Driving Academy. I hope this video caught you well. If you need any more training on any of this stuff, you can subscribe to any of our channels, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. There's a whole bunch of free training on there. Or you can give us a call, 908-525-3609. Come visit us in Linden, New Jersey, and we're happy to help. Thanks. Have a great day.